Hi everyone, my name is Junon. I have a health science background and I'm the author of the book Truth and Empathy, How to Find Your Soulmate. And I'll put a link to the book below. This video is the MBTI personality type assessment of Michael Jackson. When it comes to the 16 MBTI types, they can be grouped into four main ones. The first one are sensor judgers, the second sensor perceivers, the third intuitive thinkers, and the last one intuitive feelers. To me, Michael Jackson was an intuitive feeler. Again, I have some notes on screen so I don't miss anything. Michael Joseph Jackson was born on August 29, 1958 in Gary, Indiana in the United States. On June 25, 2009, while preparing for a series of comeback concerts, This Is It, Jackson died at only the age of 50 from an overdose of propofol administered by his personal physician. His name was Conrad Murray, who was subsequently convicted of involuntary manslaughter. He is an American singer, songwriter, and dancer dubbed the King of Pop. He is regarded as one of the most significant cultural figures of the 20th century. His career spanned 40 years. Jackson comes from a working-class African-American family. His mother worked part-time at Sears, and his father was a crane operator at U.S. Steel. He has 9 siblings, and he is the 8th child. So he has 3 sisters and 5 brothers. His father was verbally, emotionally, and physically abusive towards his children, but at least his mother was kind and gentle, as well as being a Jehovah's Witness. In 1964, at the age of 6, Michael began sharing lead vocals with Jermaine, and the group's name was changed to the Jackson 5, a band formed by their father. Jackson was tutored along with his brothers and earned a diploma from Montclair College Preparatory School. His love of books and literature was there throughout his career. So he often read 1 book a day, and his absence of formal education affected him deeply. And he tried to ensure that his children later on would receive better education than he did. From 1966 to 1968, the Jackson 5 toured the Midwest. They frequently played at a string of black clubs, and they signed to Motown Records in 1968. Michael Jackson began his soul career in 1971 while still at Motown Records. He became a solo star with his 1971 album Off the Wall. Well-known songs and music videos from Michael Jackson, I think most people already know them, such as Beat It, Billie Jean's, Thriller, Bad, Dangerous, I Just Can't Stop Loving You, The Way You Make Me Feel, Men in the Mirror, Dirty Diana, I mean the list goes on. Jackson is one of the best-selling music artists of all time, with estimated sales of over 400 million records worldwide. His honors include 15 Grammy Awards, a Juno Award, 6 Brit Awards, a Golden Globe Award, and 39 Guinness World Records, including the most successful entertainer of all time. Jackson's inductions include the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice, the Vocal Group Hall of Fame, the Songwriters Hall of Fame, the Dance Hall of Fame, the only recording artist to be included, and the Black Music and Entertainment Walk of Fame, as well as the Rhythm and Blues and Music Hall of Fame. In 2016, his estate earned $825 million, the highest yearly amount for a celebrity ever recorded by Forbes. From the late 1980s, Jackson became a figure of controversy and speculation due to his changing appearance, relationships, and behavior, as well as lifestyle. In 1993, he was accused of sexually abusing the child of a family friend. The lawsuit was settled out of civil court, and Jackson was not indicted due to lack of evidence. In 2005, he was tried and acquitted of further child sexual abuse allegations and several other charges. In 1993, he married Lisa Mary Presley, daughter of Elvis Presley. Their marriage lasted only 2 years, and when they divorced, they cited irreconcilable differences. In 1996, he married Debbie Rowe, a dermatology assistant. They had 2 children together, Prince and Paris. They divorced in 1999. Rowe conceded custody of the children with an $8 million settlement. Michael Jackson is regarded as a prolific philanthropist and humanitarian. By some estimates, he donated over $500 million to charity over the course of his life. At one time, he was recognized in the Guinness World Records for the breadth of his philanthropic work. Jackson's philanthropic activities included performing for benefit concerts, giving away tickets. He also visits the sick children in hospitals, and also provided special facilities and for nurses. So in other words, he liked to sort of involve himself physically in his work, so not only just giving money. If a person has watched many of my personality type assessments, is that they probably are wondering why I type Michael Jackson as an intuitive feeler versus a sensor perceiver. Because when you think about it, at least 90% of sensor perceivers are the entertainers and the entrepreneurs. So why is Michael Jackson the exception? Is that when I type most people, I first pay attention to the vibration that they give off. So in other words, the 4 main personality types emits a particular energy. And that energy will tell you the essence of what this person is. And it's not a funny thing in the universe. So, and to make it more tangible, I will put in the description of this video a digital recording of that type of vibration. Actually, it's mine, so that you can understand what I'm talking about. So, in other words, for people who are energy empaths, and I've come across a number of them, they don't need to actually look at how a person, let's say, behaves or things. So just the vibration of this person gives them a good idea who this person is. And when I listen to, let's say, a number of artists, like whether they're speaking or singing like Michael Jackson, I pay attention to that vibration, and it tells me who they are. And what's interesting with Michael Jackson is that if you look at his physical appearance throughout the years, is that he probably has suffered from body dysmorphic disorder. Because, I mean, if you look at all the plastic surgery and the hair and things, so like something was not going well here. But interesting enough is that his energy has not changed. And actually I've done that. I've listened to his music when he was a child and throughout the years. So that energy is very constant. So it's very difficult for someone to change the vibration that they give off. And that vibration is linked to how their brains are wired. And really when we talk about personality types, we will talk about different brain types. So it's not what the person says or does. It has to do with something deeper. And over time, obviously, if you have a particular brain type, it's going to reflect in your long-term behaviors. So that's how I type most people. So you can't really fool an energy empath based on, let's just act a certain way, because the essence of who you are does not change based on your mood or how you dress, or in terms of even from childhood to adulthood. It's pretty stable. Why Michael Jackson stands out is that he has one of the very best energies. So he has a loving vibration. And according to my favorite spiritual teacher, Dr. David R. Hawkins, only 4% of our population vibrate at the level of love. And Michael Jackson was not pretending to be loving. Actually, he was someone who probably was truly loving if you were to meet him and interact. So for all these reasons, that's why I type Michael Jackson as an intuitive feeler. So in other words, if you look at the landscape of like artists and so forth, it's the minority who would actually fall into that. And it's not surprising that he became the greatest entertainer of all time because of the energy that was actually embedded in his music. Interesting enough, because Michael Jackson was an intuitive feeler, it made him vulnerable to being exploited by others, because he thinks that the way we solve problems on this planet is just by being more compassionate and by opening up our hearts. So he thinks that deep down everyone is kind of loving, they just need more time and patience. And that's why even after he was accused of molesting children, he continued interacting with children, thinking that all children are innocent. It might be the parents who actually influence them, but he didn't realize that the fact that someone's a child is not sort of a guarantee that this person is truly pure and innocent. As I already mentioned, I type Michael Jackson as an intuitive feeler. Now, intuitive feelers can be grouped into two main groups. Either they can be judgers or they can be perceivers. To me, Michael Jackson was probably a perceiver for a couple of reasons. First of all, is how he manages money. At the height of his popularity, Michael Jackson was worth at least $500 million. And by the time that he was near his death, he was in financial difficulty. Now, he didn't probably like going to the books, accounting, and judges would be the type to actually really be meticulous about that. Even if they have a lot of money, they don't let others sort of take care of this aspect of their lives. And also you have to understand that Michael Jackson not only did not look at the books, but the spending was sort of continuous. He was a shopper, so he liked to buy things that are very expensive. So he's the type of person, he was very generous with his money, but also he didn't think long term, because it's almost like he thought that the money will continue to come and he didn't have to be meticulous about it. And so for this reason alone, you will see that he's more like a perceiver versus a judger. The other aspect also is that he's someone who's very curious. He's someone who likes to experiment. When you look at the music he's done over the years, he's someone who likes to combine different sounds like the blues, rock. He also likes to collaborate. And I remember watching the documentary This Is It, and he wanted people, when they will come to see his string of concerts, that they would be amazed. He said he wanted people to say they've never seen that before. And that's very much future thinking. And he's someone who was like 50 years old, but he had the curiosity and the enthusiasm of someone who's much younger. So you'll see that a lot with perceivers. And I think it's important to actually dive into the difference between, let's say, an icon and a legend. And I have two definitions from the Oxford Language Online Dictionary. So an icon is a person or thing regarded as a representative symbol or as worthy of veneration. A legend is an extremely famous or notorious person, especially in a particular field. So I would say that there are many icons in society, especially nowadays with the access of Instagram and Facebook and so forth. So the whole social media has created a lot of icons. There are fewer legends, and I would say that Michael Jackson is a legend on its own because he has been crowned the greatest entertainer of all time. And even if you look at Michael Jackson's family, they are considered legends as a group. But Michael Jackson stands alone as not only being a legend within the Jackson 5, but on its own, and actually has outshone all the other members of his family. So the other point is whether Michael Jackson was an introvert versus extrovert. I would lean more towards him being an extrovert versus an introvert, because he came alive when he was performing. He actually said that when he was on stage, it was his home. But the other aspect that people need to understand when it comes to intuitives versus sensors is that whether or not someone is an introvert or extrovert has to do with the energy of people around him or her. So intuitives have energy that is higher than sensors. So intuitives, even if they are extroverts, are in fact introverts, because it has to do with the difference of energy between them and people around them. So whoever you are, if you're surrounded by individuals whose energy is lower than yours, you will start acting like an introvert, and you want to actually remove yourself from that group to actually recuperate or energize yourself. If people around you have the same energy or a higher energy than you, you will start acting like an extrovert. You will want to spend time with these people because they elevate your energy. So this is why when you look at Michael Jackson, how he interacted when he's not performing, he seemed kind of distant, remote, because as an intuitive feeler, he has one of the best energies, and being around people actually probably drained him. So in other words, although during interviews he comes across as an introvert, but in fact he is an intuitive feeler who's an extrovert. Based on this information, I would type Michael Jackson as an ENFP, which is the intuitive version of the ESFP when you look at their function stack. And that's why people get confused when it comes to personality type, because if you look from the outside, say, well, Michael Jackson is an entertainer, he started young, he also, writes songs, so he does most of the things that an ESFP would do. But if you actually would meet them, the energy is different. And the other aspect is that Michael Jackson, if you were to meet him, is probably even more charming than the ESFP, the NFPs that I have met in real life, is that they usually don't have a good sense of style compared to the sense of perceivers. So if you look at Janet Jackson, I think that she puts herself together better than Michael Jackson. I remember Janet saying that he likes anything that shines. So for all these reasons, I would say that ENFP is most likely Michael Jackson's personality type. You can comment below to let me know if you agree or disagree with this assessment. If you like this video, please click on the like button, subscribe to my channel, and we will talk soon.